One of the things I really would like to share with you before 2016 closes is to give you just 10 books that I've purchased this year, not music books, but books about music that I would like to share with you and are great books. They're not all books published in this year. I think maybe there is not even one that is exclusively published in 2016, but I purchased them in 2016 and they're all great. I really would love to do more book reviews, and I will in the future. That I'm presenting you now with some books that I haven't been reviewed this year is just because of a matter of time. I'll have to find a frame in doing that more regularly. I think it would be important also to share that with you. But for now, just an oversight, a very short and a brief summary of each of the book or books. So first book are the Letters of C.P.E. Bach, and on this one I did a book review early on the channel. This is really great, and some of you have asked me if I could not read from time to time a letter, and I will, because there are because it's very expensive actually, and it's not to be found on the internet. It's a shame. It should be available. Maybe it's available as an ebook, but I don't know. This costed about 140 euros, but I had to have this because I think it's important to go back to the primary sources if you do things around composers, and I really want to dive deep into some of that stuff. And since I'm going to do next year the series, and there will be a long series of C.P.E. Bach in pieces, this is of course something I had to buy. But it's not on the internet, it's not available. I think the introduction is you can read, and since there are a lot of letters that can be connected to other issues, I might find opportunities to do some reading with you, some more close reading of that. Another book, actually a series of books, is the Bach Dokumente. I didn't have them before, and for those of you who don't know what this is, these are the 3 first volumes, and they published more than that since the first release of these volumes, but these are the most important ones, of actually all quotes, all written documents of J.S.Bach or of related people to Bach or students or contemporaries. And there is another volume on things written about J.S.Bach after his life, and that continues in several other volumes which are extremely expensive. That's the reason why I only bought these 3 ones. I could find them secondhand at not too high price. You have to be patient for them and look out. They are great. They're a must-have, of course written in German, so that's something you have to be able to do. But here you find first-hand information and the musicology groundwork that these people have done. I think this is published, I don't remember very well, but I think late 60s or early 70s, which is actually amazing. And again, this work is not finished. It is part of the Bärenreiter. If I'm not mistaken, I will look it up for you. For the Bärenreiter, publication of Bach's work, so that this is really a Bible. We come back to that in a book review for sure. This was actually sent with those Bach Dokumente to me for free actually. And again, if you look for them, be patient to find them there, because some second-hand bookshops really charge a lot of money for those volumes. Then a book that we're really going to discuss also is the keyboard music of J.S.Bach, David Schulenberg. Great background information, great musicologist. His view on the type of keyboard it's expressed at the cover. We have to talk about that because I think it's also some things worth mentioning, not diminishing his work, but I believe that we should open the framework and the window on that time frame again, instead of closing that and accepting what we're doing the last 50 years for granted. So we must be very aware of that. But for the rest, this is a great book. If you really want to dive deep into the music you play, have background on scores, on editions, things like that, personal ideas that he is giving, great book. Then we have done a review on this book, Walter Musicales and Lexicon. I have bought this new, second hand. I'm just checking on the tablet if it's in focus. We've done a review on the channel. I will not talk too long. Must have. It's also available online. Then we come to a series of books. These are actually the most recent publication of the Packard Institute. That's the institute also where the complete works of C.P.E. Bach are published. Beautiful publication. So this is the Versuch. So his treatise on keyboard playing, both volumes, and all the critical notes you can you want to have. Everything is in there. Also here we're going to make a review. It's necessary. Also here are things to be found that I think that from a musicology standpoint is maybe not correct, and it may sound weird that I'm saying that. I'm not a musicologist, but I think and I believe, and I will not go into detail, that you have a performer and you have a musicologist, and those two combined, but the overlap should be very controlled. And sometimes you read, even in the introduction of a work like that, things that are presented to a general public that is maybe less critical or just accepts things, certainly from a publication like that, that might be might have been presented in a little bit different framework. It's nothing to do with clavichord or harpsichord, that's to do with other things. Coming back to that, when we're doing the C.P.E. Bach in pieces, another work greatly to be recommended is C.P.E. Bach, of course, Essay on the True Art of Playing Keyboard Instruments. It's the English translation made in the 40s, and I believe it's the only English translation that has been produced, but it's very accurate, and that might be the reason that there is not yet a second one. Has a great introduction. It's more than 50 years old, but you can only admire the work of those people. Of course, the Packard edition is more recent, it's more accurate. Even the introduction, those people, they are on top of every information that's available today. This is very old in that regard, but still, if you're a native English speaker of not understanding German, this is the book for you. And I will be using this a lot also to make the series C.P.E. Bach in pieces, because it gives me the English language that I will need for making that video series. Then a book that I'm going to do a review on is this, actually a book that was advised by John Kionki, a long-time fan of the channel, A Music in the Gallant Style by Gerdingen. This is incredible. I've only read the introduction, but the way that this guy is writing, it makes you smile. It makes me smile. I like the approaches of just turning things 180 degrees around and then see what you come up with. And compare also things from that time to our time. Put it in perspectives, it makes things more clear. And actually, basically what he is doing is he is based on theoretical works of that time, actually making a blueprint of how composers in that time worked and why they were capable of working so fast. He is giving us a framework of the schedules, of the sketches, or what people expected to hear from composers and so on. So this, for composers like Costas or Michael Anton and others, this is really a Bible, it's gold. And also for us players, this contains valuable information that's really nice to read. I haven't got time to read through that, but we certainly are going to do that, and I come back to you with this book. Then, for the last, but not the least, and this is something we are going to devote a lot of time on, I will just take it and present it to you. It's very heavy. So 11 volumes, like that. I just take one. Those of you who know it will immediately recognize it, but the Clavichordio, it's the synopsis. It gives you all the articles from the symposium, so the proceedings of the International Clavichord Symposium, Magnano, it's very important seminars organized by Brauchli, who has sold me that. It's still available, all 11 volumes. This is incredible. When this arrived at home, I looked to Anya, my wife, and I said, if we after 20 years of working, could present something similar like this, then I think we could be satisfied. This is a milestone in clavichord research. It's a collection of very deep articles, and I think this Mr. Broccoli should have a statue for that. So, that are the 10 books or series of books that I've bought in 2016 that I'm going to work with and going to present to you in a more detailed way. Very soon, 2017, we have to find time for that. And that was Anya going to the Authentic Sound channel, I guess. But anyway, come back to that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing to the channel as always, and see each other very soon again. Bye.